Back in 1980, when inflation was as high as it is today, our national debt was $885 billion, and our GDP was 3 times that, right? So imagine, from a personal finance point of view, imagine you owe on your credit card or on your mortgage a third of your annual income, right? And so it might be painful if interest rates go up on that, but it's not gonna it's not gonna break the bank, right? The other thing I like to think about in terms of the national debt is how much gold it is, right? In 1980, gold was about $850 an ounce. So we're talking about 1 billion ounces of gold, which is well less than all the gold ever mined up to 1980. Right, let's look at what the situation is today. Today we owe $30 trillion, our GDP, and look at that, it's shrinking as we speak right now. Not surprising, we're 23 trillion. So imagine owing 16 months of income on your mortgage, right? You would be much more sensitive to any interest rate changes. And what I find the most surprising is if we then look at the amount of gold in circulation. Let's get out the calculator. We have 1.8 billion ounces of gold at a price of about $1,900 an ounce today. So in other words, the U.S. owes about 10 times all of the gold in existence on the planet. We owe that 10 times over, and each year we add about 1 times that over. Now think about that. You're playing a game of Monopoly, and you owe one of your opponents 10 times the amount of money in the entire box of Monopoly. You got to keep track of it on paper, right? So you got to earn that all the money in the box back, pay it back 10 times in a row, right? So what do I think is going to happen? I don't think the Fed is going to succeed in raising interest rates all the way to 3-4%. Certainly not to the level of where inflation is right now, right? In order to stop inflation, interest rates have to rise above the opportunity cost of holding currency, right? So I think what's going to happen is we're going to have massive inflation until at least the debt to GDP ratio makes a lot more sense to raise interest rates. So we'd have to see GDP rise by a factor of 10 before we see what happened in 1980. So I think inflation has to go way up before interest rates can catch up, right? So let's see, GDP was 3 times the debt when Paul Volcker raised the interest rates. So we got to see at least 100 trillion. At that point, gold would probably be at least 4 times, right? So it's $7,000 for gold. Don't forget, in 1980, the gold to silver ratio hit 15-1. So we're talking at least $500 an ounce silver at that point, right?